Hello everyone and welcome. Today we journey into the heart of the Old Testament, exploring the book of Exodus. This book, a cornerstone of biblical literature, narrates the epic saga of the Israelites' exodus from Egypt. It is a powerful testament to faith, resilience, and divine intervention. Imagine being enslaved for generations, yearning for freedom, and then witnessing the miraculous power of God. That's what Exodus is all about, a story that has resonated through centuries, inspiring hope and courage. From the plagues that devastated Egypt to the parting of the Red Sea, Exodus is a tapestry woven with awe-inspiring events. It details Moses' divine appointment, his unwavering leadership, and the Israelites' difficult journey towards the Promised Land. This book isn't just a historical account, it's a spiritual compass, guiding us on our own journeys of faith and deliverance. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope flickers and miracles can occur. Welcome to Bible Stories and Chronicles channel. If you like to hear beautiful stories from Bible, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you. Exodus is a saga of liberation, a testament to the unwavering spirit of a people yearning for freedom. It's a story of faith tested and found true, of courage in the face of adversity, and of a God who hears the cries of the oppressed. Through trials and tribulations, the Israelites, guided by Moses, embarked on a transformative journey. Their story is a beacon of hope, reminding us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, faith and resilience can pave the path to deliverance. As we delve into this extraordinary narrative, we'll witness the Israelites' transformation from slaves to a free nation. We'll see their faith solidify as they witness God's awe-inspiring power, and most importantly, we'll learn valuable lessons about trust, perseverance, and the unwavering love of a God who keeps his promises. So join me as we journey back in time, immersing ourselves in the captivating narrative of the book of Exodus. Today, we explore Exodus chapter 2, filled with intrigue and symbolism. Here we meet Moses as a vulnerable infant, hidden to escape death, his miraculous discovery and upbringing in the Egyptian court, the future deliverer raised by Pharaoh's daughter. Chapter 2 sets the stage for an epic narrative, introducing key characters and themes. Witness providence at work, orchestrating a grand plan, unpacking the hidden gems of Exodus chapter 2. Chapter 2 of Exodus opens with palpable tension. A new Pharaoh decrees all newborn Hebrew boys be cast into the Nile. Amidst this, Moses is born to Amram and Jochebed. Jochebed hides her baby for 3 months. Time was running out, she needed a plan. Driven by a mother's love and guided by a desperate hope, Jochebed crafted a plan. She took a basket made of bulrushes, waterproofed it with bitumen and pitch, and gently laid her precious baby inside. Can you picture her actions? The tenderness with which she must have placed him in that makeshift cradle, a silent prayer escaping her lips. This tiny ark, carrying the fate of a nation, was entrusted to the mercy of the Nile. Jochebed's eldest daughter Miriam was tasked with watching over the basket from a distance. Imagine her anxiety, her young eyes scanning the riverbank, her heart pounding with every ripple of the water. The Nile, a symbol of life for Egypt, was now both a threat and a hope for this Hebrew family. It was a gamble, a leap of faith entrusting their precious son to the unknown. Meanwhile, Pharaoh's daughter came down to the river to bathe, her attendants accompanying her. Perhaps it was a twist of fate, a divinely orchestrated moment, that led her to that particular spot on the riverbank. As she bathed, her eyes fell upon the basket nestled amongst the reeds. Curiosity piqued, she sent one of her maids to retrieve it. The moment the basket was brought to her, Pharaoh's daughter must have sensed this was no ordinary find. Peering inside, she discovered the Hebrew baby, crying softly. Instead of recoiling, she was moved with compassion. The text tells us she knew he was one of the Hebrew children, yet she didn't turn him away. This act of defiance, of choosing compassion over cruelty, speaks volumes about her character. It was a pivotal moment, one where fate and choice intertwined. Picture this, a Hebrew baby, rescued from the Nile, now nestled safely in the arms of the Pharaoh's daughter. It's a scene brimming with irony, a twist of fate that sets the stage for an extraordinary life. Pharaoh's daughter, moved by compassion, decides to adopt the child, defying her father's cruel decree. She names him Moses, drawn out of the water, a constant reminder of his miraculous rescue. Moses, once destined for the Nile's depths, now found himself in the lap of luxury. He grew up amidst the splendor and privilege of the Egyptian court, surrounded by the finest clothes, the most exquisite food, and the best education Egypt had to offer. He was raised as a prince, groomed for a life of power and influence, yet beneath the veneer of royalty there lay a hidden identity, a heritage waiting to be claimed. Despite his privileged upbringing, Moses couldn't escape his true heritage. Perhaps it was Miriam, his sister, who discreetly nursed him in those early days, whispering tales of his people, their God, their plight. Or maybe it was a quiet yearning within him, a sense of not belonging, a feeling that there was more to his story than the gilded cage of the Egyptian court. Imagine the inner turmoil, the questions swirling in young Moses' mind as he grew older. He was a prince, yes, but a prince living a lie. He saw the plight of his fellow Hebrews, forced into hard labor, their cries echoing through the streets of Egypt. The contrast between his life and theirs must have been stark, a constant reminder of the injustice that permeated the very foundations of his adopted home. As Moses matured, so did his awareness of the Hebrews' suffering. He was a prince, trained in leadership, yet he was also a stranger in his own land. He witnessed the brutality inflicted upon his people, the casual cruelty meted out by Egyptian taskmasters. He saw the despair in their eyes, the weariness etched on their faces. The scriptures tell us that Moses went out to his brethren and looked on their burdens. This wasn't a mere glance, it was a deep, empathetic observation. He saw their pain, felt their anguish, and understood their plight. This marked a turning point in Moses' life, a shift from passive acceptance to active engagement. The prince was awakening to his destiny, the call to leadership stirring within him. One fateful day, the simmering tension within Moses reached a boiling point. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, a scene all too common in Egypt. But this time, something snapped. Perhaps it was the sheer brutality of the act, or maybe it was the culmination of years of witnessing his people's suffering. The scriptures tell us that Moses looked this way and that way, and when he saw no one, he slew the Egyptian. This act, born out of righteous anger and a desperate desire to protect his own, would have dire consequences. It was a turning point, not just for Moses, but for the entire nation of Israel. The prince who had lived a lie had made a choice that would force him to confront his true identity and embark on a path he could never have imagined. Imagine the scene. The Egyptian lies dead at Moses' feet. The Hebrew he defended cowers nearby, a mixture of fear and gratitude etched on his face. The dust settles and silence descends, heavy and thick. In that moment, the weight of his deed crashes down on Moses. He, a prince of Egypt, has taken a life, crossed a line that separates obedience from defiance. The scriptures tell us that Moses looked this way and that way, fear gripping his heart. He had acted impulsively, driven by a primal instinct to protect his own, but now, the reality of his actions sets in. He had killed a man, an Egyptian no less. The consequences, he knew, would be dire. Word of the incident spreads like wildfire. The whispers start, hushed voices carrying the tale of the Hebrew prince who killed an Egyptian. Moses, accustomed to the deference of the palace, now sees fear in the eyes of those around him. Even his fellow Hebrews, those he sought to protect, regard him with suspicion and uncertainty. Then, the inevitable happens. Pharaoh hears of Moses' crime, the whispers turn into accusations, the fear into fury. Pharaoh, already wary of the growing Hebrew population, sees this as an act of rebellion, a threat to his authority. He vows revenge, demanding Moses be brought before him to face justice. Realizing the danger he's in, Moses flees. He leaves behind the opulence of the palace, the life he has always known, and steps into the uncertainty of exile. Imagine him, cloaked in the darkness, stealing out of the city, his heart pounding with each step. He is no longer a prince but a fugitive, running for his life. His journey takes him across the desert, a vast expanse of sand and sky, a stark contrast to the gilded cages of Egypt. The desert, unforgiving and harsh, becomes his sanctuary, a place to hide from Pharaoh's wrath and confront the inner turmoil that rages within him. Alone in the wilderness, stripped of his title and his home, Moses is forced to confront his true identity. He is a Hebrew, yes, but also a man caught between two worlds, belonging to neither. The life of privilege he once knew now seems like a distant dream, replaced by the harsh realities of survival. Years pass in solitary exile. Years of contemplation, of wrestling with guilt and regret, of seeking solace in the silence of the desert. The prince who once held the promise of power now grapples with humility, his spirit tempered by hardship and loss. Yet unknown to him, this period of exile is not the end but a beginning. It is in the solitude of the desert that Moses will encounter his destiny, a destiny far greater than the one he left behind. Picture Moses, our fugitive prince, journeying eastward, leaving behind the familiar landscapes of Egypt. The vast, unforgiving desert stretches before him, a stark contrast to the lush Nile valley he's always known. He travels light, his princely robes replaced by the rough garb of a wanderer. Each step carries him further from the life he once knew, deeper into the unknown. Days melt into nights. The scorching sun beats down on him during the day, the chill of the desert wind biting at him at night. He encounters nomads, traders, and other wanderers, each encounter a stark reminder of the world outside the palace walls. He listens to their tales, observes their ways, learning the art of survival in this unforgiving land. After days of travel, Moses arrives in Midian, a land of shepherds and nomads. He's weary, hungry, and thirsty. He spots a well, a beacon of hope in this arid landscape. As he approaches, he sees a group of shepherdesses struggling to water their flock. A group of men, rough and boisterous, are harassing them, preventing them from reaching the well. The sight stirs something within Moses. He remembers the injustice he witnessed in Egypt, the plight of the oppressed. He sees a reflection of that same injustice here. Without hesitation, he steps forward, his voice booming across the desert silence. He confronts the men, demanding they leave the women alone. The men, taken aback by his commanding presence, reluctantly back down. The shepherdesses, grateful for his intervention, invite Moses to their home. He accepts, drawn to their kindness and hospitality. Their father Jethro is a priest of Midian, a wise and respected leader. He welcomes Moses into his home, offering him food, shelter, and companionship. Among the shepherdesses, there's one who catches Moses' eye. Her name is Zipporah, and she is as beautiful as she is kind. She's drawn to his quiet strength, his compassion, and the air of melancholy that surrounds him. As days turn into weeks, they find themselves drawn to each other, sharing stories and finding solace in each other's company. Moses embraces this new life in Midian. He learns the ways of a shepherd, tending to Jethro's flocks, living a life far removed from the grandeur of the Egyptian court. He marries Zipporah, and they start a family of their own. The years of exile, once a burden, become a time of healing, of finding peace and purpose. Yet the memory of Egypt, of his people's plight, never fully leaves him. It lingers in the back of his mind, a shadow cast upon his newfound happiness. He doesn't know what the future holds, whether he'll ever see his homeland again. But for now, he finds solace in the simplicity of his life, in the love of his wife and children, waiting for the day when his destiny will call him once more. So there we have it, the stage set for a magnificent story of liberation and divine intervention. We've journeyed from the depths of despair, with the cruel edict of Pharaoh, to the fragile hope represented by a tiny ark bobbing amongst the reeds. We've witnessed the hand of fate, or perhaps divine providence, as Pharaoh's daughter, defying her father's command, rescues baby Moses. Imagine the whispers amongst the Israelites, the murmurs of "could he be the one?" Raised as a prince of Egypt, yet forever aware of his Hebrew heritage, Moses grapples with his dual identity. The incident at the well, where he defends the shepherdesses, reminds us of his inherent sense of justice, a trait that will define his leadership. And then the tragic turning point, The killing of the Egyptian, the flight from Pharaoh's wrath, the lonely exile in Midian. Yet even in exile, destiny finds a way. Moses' story in Exodus chapter 2 is a powerful parable about courage, compassion, and the impact of our choices. Jochebed's bravery in saving her child, Pharaoh's daughter's defiance planted the seeds for a future exodus. This chapter teaches us that even in the darkest times, hope flickers. Every act of kindness, every stand against injustice can shape destinies and change history. Let us embrace courage in adversity, show compassion to those in need, and trust in the guiding hand of something greater. We will continue with another beautiful story from Bible in our next video. Subscribe so that you will not miss it. Thanks for watching.